Okay, so get this right. I was looking at this blog post for Etsy sellers, and it was talking about printable tarot and oracle decks as like a potential gold mine. Like, I had no idea that these things were so popular.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about creating something like this? I mean, you make it once and then it just sells over and over.
I think what's so fascinating about these decks is that they tap into this desire for guidance. Yeah. And meaning that a lot of people are searching for. And they're also beautiful and collectible, which is a huge draw for, the Etsy market.
Totally. Yeah. No, I get it. But I got to admit, I'm a little lost on this whole like tarot versus oracle thing. Like, what's the difference?
So think of tarot as the classic. It has a set structure, 78 cards, suits like wands and cups. And it's got like centuries of history. It's kind of like the rule follower of the deck world.
Okay.
Oracle decks, on the other hand, are a lot more free-flowing. There's no set structure, just to focus on providing insights or inspiration.
So tarot's got the playbook, and oracle's more about the vibes. Okay, that makes sense. So the blog post that we're looking at today is suggesting selling printable versions of these decks, which I think is like a brilliant way to generate passive income. But like, how do you even begin to choose where to sell them?
Well, you've got a few options. Etsy's obviously the big player for handmade and digital goods, but there's also Creative Fabrica, and even the option of selling through your own website or social media channels. So each has its pros and cons, so it really comes down to, what works best for you and your business model.
It's a lot. It's kind of overwhelming. I mean, Etsy has that 6.5% transaction fee, which is pretty reasonable. But then Creative Fabrica takes a 50% cut for the sales they bring in. So like, how do you weigh those options?
Yeah, well, think of Etsy as like the DIY route. Lower fees, but you're handling all the marketing yourself. Creative Fabrica is more like, hiring a marketing team. They do a lot of the heavy lifting to promote your products. But it comes at a price. So which path feels more aligned with, your current strategy?
That's a really helpful way to frame it. It really depends on how comfortable you are with driving traffic to your shop, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you've picked your platform. How do you actually create these decks? I'm picturing some elaborate process with like fancy software.
It's actually a lot more straightforward than you might think. Our source here breaks it down into 5 simple steps, starting with choosing your image creation tool. Canva and Etsy's own design platform both have really user-friendly interfaces. And card templates, which are a huge time saver.
Oh, templates. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you wouldn't want to be fussing with like sizing and layout for each individual card. Okay, so once you've got your tools, it's time to get creative with the designs, right? This is where it gets really interesting for me. I can imagine, people being drawn to like unique, eye-catching decks.
Absolutely. You've got some creative freedom within the tarot structure. You can stay true to the traditional meanings while, putting your own spin on the visuals. But with Oracle decks, it's truly a blank canvas. You can develop your own themes, symbols, imagery, whatever resonates with you and your artistic vision.
So you could have like a minimalist black and white tarot deck.
Yeah.
Or an oracle deck inspired by nature with like botanical illustrations or something. Possibilities seem endless.
Yeah.
But what about those printing instructions? Why are those so crucial for a digital product? Shouldn't it be straightforward?
You'd be surprised how tricky it can get for people to print double-sided cards, especially on cardstock. Ensuring the back and front images line up perfectly is crucial for like a professional looking product. So clear step-by-step instructions can make a huge difference in customer satisfaction and even impact those all-important reviews.
You're so right. Clear instructions can make or break the experience for a buyer, especially for something like this. Okay, final step, listing your masterpiece for sale. What's the key to, getting those decks seen by the right people?
Think of it like setting up your shop window for maximum appeal. It's all about optimizing your listings with relevant keywords, choosing the right categories, and showcasing those eye-catching product images. This is where your seller knowledge really comes in handy. And don't forget the power of like a really compelling product description. You really want to highlight the unique aspects of your deck, the inspiration behind it, and how it can benefit the user. Think about what would make you. Click that buy now button.
Oh, that's such a good point. You're selling a feeling, an experience, not just a stack of cards. Speaking of selling, let's talk about pricing. How do you even determine the right price point for these things? The blog post mentioned prices on Etsy ranging from like less than $1 to $6 or $7. Is it even worth the effort if you're only charging a couple of dollars?
Well, that's the beauty of passive income, right? Even if you're pricing your decks at, let's say, $5 and you sell just 10 a day, that's an extra $1,500 a month. And remember, you only have to create the deck once. So those sales can really add up over time.
Okay, yeah, I see the potential there, but obviously a higher price point means more profit, right?
Well, not always. A higher price tag often requires something special to justify it, like a unique theme,
Yeah.
exceptional design, or, a strong brand identity. So think about what makes your deck stand out from the crowd. Bundling related products can also increase perceived value, allowing you to charge a bit more.
Bundles. That's a smart strategy. So maybe you offer like a tarot deck and an oracle deck and a set of journaling prompts, all centered around a specific theme, like self-care or mindfulness. And suddenly it feels like a much more substantial purchase.
Exactly. And don't forget to factor in those platform fees and any advertising costs when you're calculating your profit margins.
Oh, right. So much to consider. It's not just about creating a beautiful deck. It's about understanding the market, your audience, and how to position your product for success.
Absolutely. And speaking of understanding the market, have you ever considered using Done For You or DFY decks? The blog post mentioned these as a potential shortcut.
DFY decks. Tell me more.
Yeah, so they're essentially pre-made designs that you can personalize and sell as your own. It's a fantastic way to get started quickly without investing a ton of time in designing from scratch. Plus, you can tweak those designs to fit your brand and your target audience.
That sounds like a brilliant option for people who are, short on time or just starting out. It's like getting a head start on the design process. This whole conversation has me thinking about like the broader trend of digital products and passive income. It seems like everyone's looking for ways to monetize their skills online these days. And these printable decks are like a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
How you can turn your passion into profit.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. What's happening here is a convergence of a few trends, growing interest in personal growth and spirituality, the accessibility of these digital creation tools, and the desire for more flexible income streams. It's kind of a perfect storm for this type of business to thrive.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what other unexpected niches are out there just waiting to be discovered. Okay, so let's say someone listening to this is feeling inspired and ready to jump into this whole world of printable tarot and oracle decks. What advice would you give them as they embark on this journey?
Well, first and foremost, tap into your passions. What unique perspective can you bring to this space? What themes or visual styles resonate with you? Authenticity is key, especially in a niche that's all about personal meaning and connection. So don't be afraid to let your personality shine through in your creations.
That's great advice. It's not about copying what's already out there. It's about finding your own voice and style. And I think that goes for any type of creative business, really.
Yeah.
Speaking of finding your voice, how do you narrow down your focus and figure out who you're really trying to reach?
That's where your seller knowledge comes in handy again. Think about the data you have access to, keywords, trending themes, even competitor analysis. This can really help you identify those underserved niches that are just waiting for someone like you to create something special.
So instead of creating like a generic tarot deck, I could target like yoga enthusiasts, astrology lovers, even cat lovers.
Exactly. The more specific you can get with your niche, the easier it will be to craft targeted marketing campaigns and stand out from the crowd. Remember, you're not just selling a product, you're selling an experience, a way for people to connect with something deeper within themselves.
I love that. It's about creating a product that speaks directly to, your ideal customer's needs and desires.
Precisely. And from my research, I've noticed a few interesting trends in terms of design and themes. For example, there's a growing demand for decks that feature diverse and inclusive imagery, reflecting a wide range of identities and experiences.
That's fantastic. It's so important for people to feel seen and represented, especially in a space like this.
Absolutely. And another trend I've noticed is a shift toward more minimalist and modern designs. While there will always be a market for those, classic ornate decks, there's also a growing appetite for something a bit cleaner and more contemporary.
I can see that appealing to a lot of people, especially those who are, new to tarot or oracle and might find those traditional decks a bit intimidating.
Exactly. The design of your deck is an extension of your brand. So choose a style that aligns with your vision and resonates with your target audience.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. From choosing a platform and pricing your products to understanding current trends and marketing your creations. What stands out to you as like most important takeaway from all of this?
For me, it's the realization that Creating and selling printable tarot and oracle decks can be a viable and potentially very profitable business, especially for those who are passionate about this space and have a knack for connecting with their target audience.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what's so exciting is that it's surprisingly accessible, even for those who aren't, like design gurus or marketing experts. You just need a bit of creativity, a willingness to learn, and the drive to bring your unique vision to life. And that's where those DFY decks can really come in handy, right? It's a great way to like test the waters without a huge time investment. Plus, you can always use them as a starting point and add your own personal touch to create something truly unique.
Exactly. It's all about finding what works best for you and your business. And remember, there are tons of resources available to help you along the way. Our source material even included a link to a resource called Understanding Tarot and Oracle Decks for Personal Growth that apparently offers access to some of those DFY decks. I'll be sure to include that in the show notes for you.
Super helpful. Thanks for that. You know, it's amazing how much we've unpacked about this niche. We started with a simple question about the difference between tarot and oracle decks.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about like building a thriving business around these powerful tools.
It really is a testament to the potential of this niche and to the power of, creative entrepreneurship. Don't underestimate the impact you can make by combining your passion with your business savvy.
So true. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one final thought-provoking question you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I would challenge them to consider this. What unique themes or visual styles could you bring to tarot or oracle decks that haven't been explored yet? What untapped niches are waiting to be discovered? The possibilities are truly endless.
Ooh, I love that. It's a call to action to think outside the box and tap into that creative spark. Who knows? Maybe your unique vision will inspire a whole new wave of tarot and oracle decks.
And that's what's so exciting about this journey, You have the power to create something meaningful, something that resonates with others, and something that can potentially bring you financial abundance as well.
This whole deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening. I'm feeling inspired, and I hope our listeners are too. Thanks for guiding us through this fascinating world.
It was my pleasure. Remember, knowledge is most powerful when it's shared and applied. So take what you've learned today and go create something amazing.
And that's a wrap on another deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep creating.